To study politics at a level was to be perpetually frustrated. Every lesson started with, "What do you think?" and ended with, "Well, actually," as my teacher systematically picked apart my naive ideas. But there was nowhere to escape this frustration. Even the books were complicit, filled with dense paragraphs and endless names I was expected to remember. Studying politics felt like staring into an abyss. Looking back, I can see that what I lacked was not intelligence, but direction. My energy was scattered across too many topics, none of which captured my curiosity enough to focus my attention. Leaving behind the frustrations of A-level politics was not a surrender of curiosity, but a redirection of it. If politics seemed abstract, full of theory, detached from practice, computing appeared concrete, logical, and mercilessly precise. A program either ran or it did not. An algorithm either solved the problem or failed. There was something refreshing about this clarity. At Birmingham City University, I immersed myself in computer science. What fascinated me most was not just the technical skill of writing code, but the way of thinking it required. Code is not random. It is structured, rule-based, and systemic. It demands a kind of intellectual discipline that leaves little room for ambiguity. As I studied, I began to see parallels between coding and society itself. Just as a program has inputs, processes, and outputs, so too does a political or social system. Errors in code produce bugs. Errors in governance produce crises. What I once sought in politics, a way of mapping society's hidden architecture, I now sought through the logic of computing. The more I studied, the more I thrived. By the end of my degree, I had achieved a first-class classification. Not only because I worked hard, but because I had discovered a way of seeing the world that resonated deeply with me. Computing taught me that systems, no matter how complex, could be broken down, understood, and redesigned. This led naturally into teaching. For 2 years, I worked as a student lecturer, guiding others through the same concepts I had wrestled with myself. Teaching was not merely a job, it was an education in itself. To teach well, I discovered, was to simplify complexity without distortion. I watched students grapple with algorithms and logic, and I recognized my own earlier struggles in their questions. It reminded me that learning is not linear, but recursive. We circle ideas again and again, each time gaining a deeper understanding. Teaching also sharpened my appreciation of knowledge as a collective process. Unlike politics, where debate often seemed about victory and rhetoric, computing education was collaborative. Students worked together, sharing insights and debugging one another's code. I began to wonder whether society itself could learn from such collaboration, whether the same patience and shared problem-solving could be applied to our political and social systems. And yet, despite the clarity of code, I could not silence the bigger question. Who writes the code of society? Who defines the rules, enforces them, and decides what outcomes matter? Computers, for all their precision, still reflected human choices. Choices about design, priorities, and power. I realized that computing, while different from politics, was not separate from it. It was another window into the question that had haunted me since my earliest encounters with political theory. Who really pulls the strings? My journey from frustrated politics student to computer science graduate was not a rejection of the social world, but a deepening of my engagement with it. If studying politics had taught me that societies are governed by rules, studying computing taught me that rules shape everything, including the way we think about politics. As I ventured further into the tech industry, I carried this perspective with me. I saw firsthand how the algorithms and systems I helped create could either serve or surveil, how they could connect or control. I realized that the most important innovations are not just technological, but social. They are the ideas and practices that enable us to harness the power of computing for good. That is why I am drawn to the work of my foundation year students. They remind me of myself at that pivotal moment, when the world seemed full of problems waiting to be solved. Their energy, curiosity, and idealism are infectious. I want to help them navigate the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. Not just in the tech industry, but in a world increasingly shaped by technology. Above all, I hope to inspire in them the same sense of wonder that first drew me to computing all those years ago. This text is from Chapter 2 of my book, Coding the American Dream. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.